Welcome back to another weekly Forex forecast, traders. I hope you all had a fantastic trading week, and we will always start with the DXY, the US dollar. On this daily time frame, we expected a push up from last week. The reason I was saying is because we had liquidity here with a supply zone above. So I was expecting to see dollar strength up to this daily area of supply, and we got just that. So why did we see a push up in the dollar? Well, if you've been following along with my previous weekly Forex forecast, you know we reacted off of our weekly area of demand. And more importantly, this weekly demand zone is inside of this overall monthly area of demand. So after such an aggressive pullback in the dollar, at some point we have to rally up, and that is why I called out we are probably going to be reacting off of this monthly demand and pushing to the upside. You can go back and check for the evidence in all of my previous weekly Forex forecast videos. So at this point, if we break this daily supply zone, in my opinion, that is going to be evidence to suggest that we will be pulling up to this weekly area of supply. So at this point, this week in the DXY, I will definitely be monitoring, again, this daily supply zone. I am actually expecting to see a reaction off of it. As far as how big of a reaction are we going to see, that is kind of the big question right now. Remember, a monthly demand is in control, and we're going up against a daily supply zone. A monthly demand zone is way stronger than a daily supply zone, but it doesn't mean we cannot see, some sort of move to the downside off of that zone. A couple things we should be watching out for here to determine what is going to be taking place is this 4-hour trend to the upside. If this 4-hour trend line's holding, we definitely could expect price to continue to go up. But if you look at this and a channel, we're clearly at the top of the channel. So it wouldn't surprise me to see some sort of pullback, especially since we have contacted that daily area of supply. So it is very well possible that we do see dollar weakness this upcoming week. That doesn't mean, guys, that if price pulls back down to here, we still could see a move off this 1-hour zone. We could have a bullish day here and there. It is definitely possible. So if we do start to pull back to the downside, we have a couple nice rally-based areas of demand at 98.78 all the way down below, and at 99.33. Let me just go ahead and adjust this one down below. So if we do pull back to these zones, I'm expecting moves to the upside off of them. But again, since the daily supply is in control, I'm expecting these zones to break, but I think we could see a small move and get a bullish day in the dollar as we contact these zones, but end up breaking them. But again, if we break to the upside and break that daily supply, well, in my opinion, that is telling me we will be pulling up to the weekly supply above 100 all the way at 103.06. Moving on to the forecast for the Euro US dollar. Usually these are completely inverse, guys, but we contacted the daily supply in the dollar. We did not contact the daily demand on the euro. So it is definitely kind of tricky right now, but we could expect to see price pull back lower, which again could mean that the dollar could continue to rise. A little bit of a tricky situation right now. I will definitely admit that. And if you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. We just did another donation to my local hospice. I do this every month. All ad revenue from these weekly Forex forecasts are donated to my local hospice charity. So thank you very much to everybody for continuing to watch the videos, share, and like the videos so we can get more donations. Really, really appreciate it. On the 1-hour chart here on the euro, we definitely could be monitoring this 1-hour downward trend line. It is getting very steep and aggressive at this point. So actually I need to, that's the right trend line, my bad. So it is getting very aggressive at this point. If we contact the trend line, it's very possible we do break it, right? And if we do, this is our 1-hour, this is our nearest supply zone for a potential short trade at 115. It's a nice little hidden drop-based drop area of supply that removed 2 demand zones from previous back there. So again, if we break the trend line, as long as this trend line's holding, you definitely could be shorting on a 5-minute time frame. That is one option. But again, if we break it, that will be our nearest supply zone for a potential short trade. And if we get an even bigger pullback, we have a pretty good 4-hour supply zone above. That 1-hour supply is kind of sitting right here. and the 4-hour supply is sitting right above it. So I do think the bigger move is going to take place from this 4-hour supply if we do get the pullback up to it. So that 1-hour supply I pointed out, you might want to be a little bit aggressive with trade management. Maybe don't look for more than a 2-to-1 on that, or just move your stop to break even when you can. Because again, I think we could break the 1-hour supply, pull up to the better 4-hour supply above, and then react to the downside. And if you are bullish, I'm really not seeing any trading decisions to be made right now in the euro, except for if we can break this area of supply, any demand zone there could be a great trading opportunity potentially if we can create some sort of demand zone there. We had a demand zone here and with a nice potential liquidity trap, and we just got stopped out of that one. So we do take losses here, obviously, guys. I'm pretty transparent with everything. I take losses all the time. They happen, and I'm not trying to hide it or anything. Just saying we had a loss there, and with this loss, it created a new potential trading setup with that area of supply above on the euro US dollar. Moving on to the forecast for gold. Now, the big question is, where are we pulling back into on gold? Well, on the weekly time frame, I mean, we do have a demand zone here and a demand zone here. I do like this demand zone. I don't like this one. But more importantly, these dotted lines, that's a monthly demand zone. So look, guys, I know everyone's bullish on gold, and that's completely fine. I am very bullish on gold in the long run, but it's possible we do see a pullback below 3,500 before getting that next big leg up. This could be evidence to suggest we could be going even lower on gold. The issue with gold, though, is that we have a couple daily areas of demand here. Let me just show you guys this really quick. So we had a demand zone here, got a nice reaction off of it. You can go back last week and check. And we had this demand zone here, got a nice reaction off of it so far as well. I will admit, I don't really love any of these zones, to be honest, at all. None of them are really set and forget opportunities for me. They're all confirmation trades only because they're just not great areas of demand. Now, we actually had one of the members, Jemuel, catch a beautiful 1-to-4 long trade on gold as we came off of this daily area of demand. So he basically used my daily zone and traded his own entry style with supply and demand at that daily area of demand. So congrats to you, Jemuel. Very nice trade. We created a daily supply above at 42.69. So now we have a very good supply zone to get through as well. I think we definitely could hesitate here. And the good news is if we break it, any demand there is going to be a very good trading opportunity for potential long trades. The good news, if you are long, is we have a very nice 1-hour trend to the upside now that was just created. Depends on when you're watching this the other day. But we have a nice 1-hour trend, and as long as that trend line's holding, guys, that is going to be our long signal on gold. And remember, yes, this is a strong sign on its own for gold, but combine this with our higher time frame analysis that there's daily demand in contact here, makes it an even higher odds situation. The only thing I'm worried about, again, is if we get that deeper pullback on gold and breaking this trend line with a supply zone, that's going to be a nice potential counter trend shorting opportunity, and that is going to be a signal that we could be going much, much lower. The 4-hour chart's not really giving us too much information. We did get a nice set and forget trade here, but I did not take this trade. I'm not saying I did. I'm just saying I had the zone on my chart since it was created, and we reacted beautifully off of it. And not a trade I would, eager to take. I'm just saying we did get a nice reaction off of it. So if we do break that trend line, that demand zone, that's going to be a very, very bearish sign as well. So for now on gold, guys, we have a nice 1-hour trend to the upside, and that's as we contact daily demand and an overall weekly trend. So in my opinion, as long as that 1-hour trend line's holding, I personally think looking for longs is going to be the best decision on gold. Okay, moving on to the forecast for the S&P 500. So last week, you guys, we talked about it. We created a new high, and that gave us a daily trend line. Why I love that is because I use these trend lines as my guide for trend. So here, we did not really have a trend line. This was more just momentum to me. So the fact that we've, created a very nice low and a higher high, to me, it's a very, very bullish sign on the S&P. I was already bullish anyways, but it's definitely an even more bullish sign. And this chart is very, very straightforward right now, which I absolutely love. So we have a 1-hour downward trend line in play right now. We clearly have liquidity. I drew this last night and we came down, kind of targeted already. So kind of makes me nervous about this 1-hour zone. I like when we have liquidity before a zone because then it gives me more confidence in the demand zone down below. But since we kind of already targeted it here, I'm kind of iffy on this 1 hour zone. I think it's a great investment opportunity if you are looking for longs in the S&P for investments. Just kind of a dip buying opportunity. I think it's fantastic, but we might have already targeted this 1 hour liquidity. So if we do pull back to the zone, I think it's still worth a potential set and forget, especially since the daily trend's up, the weekly trend's up, everything's looking good. I still think at 6811, it could be a good 1 hour zone, but I think what we're going to be doing inside the membership, when we contact this 1 hour zone, we'll be looking for, I don't day trade personally, but I'll be pointing out 5-minute long opportunities, day trading opportunities to catch a nice day trade inside the zone. And that'll be for the members in the daily market breakdown videos. If you want to trade alongside myself and the members, join the Diamond membership, where you will have access to the 38-page supply and demand zone PDF, which will be your complete trading guide, the daily market breakdown videos, which are forecasts that I release every single night for the members to trade alongside myself, step-by-step video lessons A to Z covering everything you need to know on supply and demand trading, the Sunday strategy Zoom session where members submit homework, and it's an interactive 1 hour call where we go over all of your homework and every trading related question, private access to myself inside of our private Discord group where I answer all of your trading related questions, and finally the Sunday live stream forecast where we break down over 30 markets together. And it's not just me. Here are some of the members and some of their trades they've been taking lately, absolutely killing it. And we also have some amazing reviews from some of the past members sharing their experience within the group. So if you're ready to trade alongside myself and the community, join the Diamond membership today. Links in the description down below. So how do we go ahead and trade the S&P now? Well, it's a little bit risky because it's counter trend, but if you want to get a little bit risky, that's reasonable. And what I like about this is if you decide, what I'm going to say is if you want to look for shorts, as long as this 1 hour downward trend line's holding, we could justify looking for 5-minute time frame shorts. And again, it's counter trend, so it definitely makes me nervous. However, I don't mind a counter trend short when we have a very clear profit target down below where we can then reverse, especially when we have liquidity down below. So as long as this trend line's holding, you could be looking for day trade shorts down to this demand zone, and then we could switch to a potential long trade. Remember, I will be trying to help the members look for day trading confirmation trades in there as well. And if we do break that 1 hour zone, that's fine. We are going to take losses, okay? Everyone needs to stop acting like losses don't happen. If we do pull back, that's completely fine because we have a very good demand zone sitting down below at 67.16. What I like about this zone is two things. We not only removed an opposing area of supply that we did get a reaction off of, we also made an all-time high from this demand zone as well. So even if we take a loss on that 1 hour zone, whatever, we have a nice 4 hour zone as well. That's an even better dip buying opportunity on the S&P 500. All right, moving on to the forecast for the USDJPY. We do have an updated daily trend line here, and that is as we came off of our daily demand zone. You can go back and watch my previous forecast and see I pointed out this demand zone before it happened, didn't just draw it after. You can go always check for yourself. That's a beautiful thing about my forecasts. We have a pretty aggressive daily upward trend line right now. It's definitely a good positive sign for the USDJPY longs. However, since it's such an aggressive trend line, that I think it's possible we see a fake out and then push up. So don't be surprised if we kind of fake everybody out below the trend line just because it's so aggressive. And this is just coming from my 6 years of trading experience. When these aggressive trend lines happen, it's typically what we can see. There's not a lot of great trading opportunities right now on the yen as far as zones go. I do my chain analysis. I don't just draw every single zone. So I'm pretty picky with my zones. So I don't really have any good zones for you guys right now. There might be some throughout the week, and they're hopefully on the 1 hour chart. But for now, we have a daily trend line to the upside, and we have a nice 4 hour trend line. So as long as this 4 hour trend line's holding, if you're a day trader, you could be looking for longs on a 15-minute time frame. I think that's completely reasonable. Now, on the 1 hour chart, we did have a couple zones down here. One of the members, Devin, cut a beautiful, picture-perfect 1-to-4 trade off that yen long. Beautiful trade there. So congrats to one of the members there, Devin. Absolutely perfect trade. This 1 hour trend line is getting a little bit aggressive now. We do have a fresh 1 hour zone down below, but it's definitely not something I would be looking to trade if I'm being honest. So at this point, guys, it is going to be longs all the way. We just need to monitor this 4 hour trend line and be continuing to look for longs as long as that trend line is holding. All right, moving on to the forecast for the GBP USD. Now, something happened this past week on the GBP USD, which was removing this weekly area of demand. This is kind of what was creating confusion in the pound because we had a nice daily trend, but then we had a weekly demand and control. So a little bit tricky. So that is definitely a bearish sign for the pound as we push down lower. Not only that, we have a beautiful daily downward trend line here as well. So this is going to be kind of our swing trading guide and where we could see the GBP USD be headed in the near future. So I will say on the 4-hour time frame, as long as this 4-hour trend line's holding, you could justify looking for shorts, on a 50-minute time frame. But if you look at this as kind of a channel, we're at the low end of the channel, so I prefer to be doing that halfway or above halfway, more towards that trend line. If we do break above, this supply's not great, so I think this could be used for maybe a quick 1-to-1. That's about it. So I'm not saying it's going to be a huge move, but if we do break above that, I think we could maybe see a reaction off of that supply zone. Obviously, the pound has just absolutely been tanking here, and one of the members, Jayesh, caught a nice little short trade off of that. So another congrats to one of the members, absolutely killing it. We have a nice 1-hour supply zone above with a potential liquidity trap here as well. It's a little close, but I think it could be a liquidity trap. So if we do push up, I would like to see a reaction off of it. That would give me more confidence in that 1-hour supply zone short at 1.32. It is a decent rally-based drop. I like that it removed demand. I love the aggressive move away. And I like that we have potential liquidity forming before it. So if we do pull up, that would really be our nearest supply zone for a short trade. If you're bullish the pound, I'm sorry, I don't really see any trading setups at this point. If we can remove this, any 1-hour demand zone there, yeah, that could be a nice potential long trade. Another option for shorts is if we can remove this demand zone that we're clearly getting a reaction off of, any supply zone there is going to be a good potential trading opportunity. This 1-hour demand zone is a very, very old zone. I'm not even going to scroll all the way back, but it's clearly holding up price right now. So if it does get removed, that is going to be another signal to get in short. But for now, we want to just be day trading short with the 4-hour downward trend line and then waiting for the 1-hour supply zone above for potential shorting opportunities. All right, on to the forecast for the USDCAD. Beautiful daily trend line holding. If you view this in a channel, dipped below the 50% point there, and we are moving up. So really all signs are pointing to the upside right now on the USDCAD. We had a nice potential 4-hour supply zone short here. That was blasted through. I was a little surprised. I don't mind taking these counter trend short trades. It does suck when price just absolutely wicks through your zone like this, and it does happen, guys. I'm here to be completely transparent with you. It does happen. That was kind of a tough one. I was planning on just being aggressive with trade management, maybe looking for a 1-to-1. Didn't even get to do that. But I wasn't too bummed out about it because we did create, it was a counter trend trade. So I was more expecting to lose than if I was going to get in long at this demand zone, because long at this demand zone would be with the daily trend. So I am more confident in this 4-hour demand zone, and I'll be looking for a larger risk reward at that area of demand. So if you're bullish, which I mean, we have a nice 4-hour trend to the upside. I don't know why you'd be bearish. We just want to be waiting for this 4-hour demand zone for a nice pullback long entry. That's really about it. What I like about this chart as well is we have a 4-hour supply zone above that we got 1, 2, 3, 4 reactions off of. So let's say we don't get the pullback down here and we push up. That's fine. We will have a nice 4-hour trend line to the upside, which we can day trade long. But let's say we don't even get that and we just push up. We break these supply zones there. Since this supply zone is so proven, any demand that removes that is going to be a very significant area of demand, in my opinion. So for longs, we want to wait for this supply to be removed, look for new zones to be formed, or wait for the 4-hour demand zone down below for another potential long opportunity. And on the 1-hour chart here, we are reacting off of a 1-hour supply zone. Not a supply zone I'd be interested in taking. I did not take this trade. I simply like to have these zones to see what zones remove them. So near term, we could see this supply removed. And if there's a 1-hour demand zone there formed, that could be a potential long opportunity as well on the USDCAD. All right, moving on to the forecast for the Aussie US dollar. And if you guys want help with your trading psychology, make sure to check out the Stoic Trading Psychology podcast. I'm trying to do more episodes. I created a YouTube channel for it as well. So anywhere you get your podcast, even on YouTube, check out the Stoic Trading Psychology podcast if you want help with your trading psychology. I'm telling you guys right now, if you do not have your trading psychology down, this is not just psychology in general. This is not the trade for you guys. I'm telling you that right now. We need to get our psychology on point. The podcast is aimed to help you guys with that. So on the daily time frame here, we did react beautifully off of our daily zone, and we broke a daily downward trend line. It's definitely a bullish sign, but it's not as bullish as if we had something like this with a nice trend to the upside. We don't have that, but it is definitely, it's more of a bullish sign than it is not, obviously. On the 4-hour chart, there's just not a lot going on as far as what I would consider nice price action. We do have a trend line here that I missed, so I'm going to draw that now, and we are clearly reacting off of this trend line. If we remove this trend line, we will have a supply zone up here. And if we remove that trend line, this supply zone is going to be kind of a key zone where we could see a move off of it. How big of a move, that's hard to tell because we don't have a daily trend and we don't have a weekly trend. So it's very difficult to tell how big of a move we are going to get if we do create that supply zone. So I will definitely be watching this trend line this week. I'm actually surprised I missed that one. I'm not perfect though. Sometimes I miss them. So if we break that trend line, that'll be significant. Right now on the 1-hour time frame, you can see we did remove this downward trend line on the 1-hour chart. So actually, I don't know what happened here with my trend line. Just going to fix this up a bit. There it is. So this trend line was removed, and we have potential liquidity forming here. And let me just delete some of this other stuff. So I personally think we could see a move off of this 1-hour supply zone. It's a nice drop-based drop, remove demand, nice liquidity before. So I think we could see a move off the zone. But remember, the 4-hour trend is to the upside. So essentially, you know, we are shorting a 1-hour supply zone against a 4-hour trend line that is in control. Makes me a little bit nervous. So I would be more aggressive with trade management off of this zone, looking for a 1-to-1, maybe a 1-to-2, or let's say we push up to the supply zone, get a nice move. Move your stop from here to half risk or to break even. Let the trade run. That's just one option, or sell 75% of your trade, whatever. You're going to have to back test whatever you like to do. If we do get a bigger pullback, we have another liquidity trap up here with a supply zone at 0.66. It's a very good supply zone, in my opinion. This supply zone, it removed a significant trend line. The basing's good. The move away is picture perfect. So this is the better supply zone above where we could see that bigger move to the downside there. And again, if you want to trade with that 4-hour trend, that's perfect. I'd rather be doing that too. So me personally, for longs, I want to wait for that supply zone to be taken out, hopefully leaving us with a high quality 1-hour zone there where we can then look for a potential long trade. And all the members get my zones. So they get this exact chart link, and anytime I draw a zone, they'll have the zone. So they'll be looking for longs at that 1-hour demand zone as well. All right, moving on to the forecast for the USD Swiss. We do have that weekly area of demand and control, and that's why, in my opinion, we're pushing up, obviously, with the DXY and that weekly demand as well. That definitely helps. On the daily time frame, it looks like we could be approaching this high, and if we do remove that high, that'll be a very nice daily trend line. And that's what we want. That is what that is going to give us strength. It's kind of, you know, back support. It's kind of backup, or whatever you want to refer to it as. It's a team. I don't know. That's how I view a trend line. It's kind of our backup. It's kind of our direction. It's our North Star. So in my opinion, it's longs all the way here on the Swiss. We are approaching an older supply zone we got to trade off of. And what I like about it is, we got to trade off of it. So it proved to us that there was supply there. So if we do remove this supply zone, hopefully we can get a demand zone there for a nice potential long opportunity. If we don't, we have two technically fresh demand zones down below. If we zoom in on this one, this makes me very nervous about this zone. Especially since if you just drew it like this, it was tested. I don't want to draw it like that because it's just a little too big for me. So I'm just going to stick to the way I drew it now. And again, it's making me nervous because it was so close to being a test. So we have a couple options here. You could set and forget at this 4-hour demand zone. It's fine. It would make me pretty nervous. I'd rather be doing that down at this very fresh zone at 0.79. So again, if you an option here is to look for confirmation on a 15-minute time frame in that zone. That's one option. Or we wait for this 4-hour demand zone down below. That is another option. And inside of this, so let me just do this really quick. Let me go ahead and make this black, and we will sync this in the layout. So this daily zone, remember, or the 4-hour zone right here, that's the black zone. And again, it was so close to being tested, but we have a very fresh 1 hour zone sitting right below it. So let me just go ahead and unsync this. Oh, sorry. Ah, damn, that wasn't supposed to happen. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and redraw the 4 hour zone on the chart so I don't forget. Right there. So I just wanted to show you guys that the 1 hour zone is inside of that 4 hour zone. So I think this 1 hour zone could be good for a nice 1-to-1, 2-to-1 set and forget trade. It's a very nice explosive move away, single candle basing, kind of a hidden zone. And it's inside that overall 4 hour demand zone. So again, I think we could see maybe a small move off the zone before maybe breaking down to that better 4 hour zone down below. So it could be a quick little 1 hour demand zone trade there that could be worth it. In the meantime, we do have a very nice 1 hour trend line to the upside. So as long as this 1 hour trend line's holding, we could look for longs on a 5-minute chart. If you notice, we have a 1 hour supply zone and control above. So if we remove that 1 hour supply, any demand zone there is going to be a nice long opportunity. All right, on to the forecast for crude oil. And if you guys are not following me on Instagram, make sure you check me out on Instagram at FX Telepath, trying to post over there a little bit more. On the weekly time frame here, we have a nice weekly downward trend. We reacted off of our support area here, and that is a good sign because I wanted to see a reaction off of it because we have a very good weekly demand zone down below. And the fact that we are creating support liquidity here, it's going to make the zone down below even higher odds, in my opinion. It's a very nice rally-based rally that removed a trend line over here. So I think it's a very valuable weekly demand zone, which we could see a move off of. It's still a weekly downward trend, so I'm not saying this is going to be the complete turnaround on oil down here, but I'm just saying I think it could be used for a nice potential long trade. Another reason I'm bearish on oil is we have a very nice daily downward trend line. If you look at it in a channel, we're basically sitting right in the middle, so it's possible we do pull up even more and then react, but in my opinion, it's shorts all the way, especially with this daily downward trend line, and especially since we have a clear weekly liquidity down below to be looking to target. I don't see anything on my 4 hour chart that's worth pointing out, but the 1 hour chart is pretty much filled with action here. We almost wicked above the supply zone depending on what broker you had, but beautiful move off of our supply zone so far. And in my opinion, it was liquidity trap here as well. And I think it's good to look for shorts. As long as this 1 hour supply zone's holding, I think you could justify looking for shorts on a 5-minute chart. I think that's completely reasonable, especially since we have a daily downward trend as well. If you are bullish on oil, which I could see reasons for being bullish on oil, we're at that low in the weekly chart. Again, it's against a daily trend, but it doesn't mean we can't get in long. It doesn't mean we don't have long opportunities. So we have two options for longs. We either want to wait for this 1 hour zone down below, which makes me very nervous because we almost contacted it there at 60.28. So since we almost contacted it, I would rather be looking for 5-minute time frame confirmation coming off of this 1 hour zone. I just did a full course on confirmation as well. It's like an hour and a half long. You guys got to watch it if you want to know what I'm talking about, referring to confirmation inside higher time frame zones. That is one option for longs. The next option is if we can remove this supply, any 1 hour demand zone there could be worth looking for longs off of. But again, all long trades, since it's against the daily downward trend line, all long trades, we have to be more aggressive with trade management. And all short trades, we can expect to see bigger moves until we target the weekly liquidity to the downside. Alrighty, on to the forecast for Bitcoin. And just full disclosure here, I don't trade Bitcoin. I have invested in Bitcoin before. I'm not in Bitcoin right now. I've already taken my profits, but I don't trade Bitcoin. This is completely for you guys because it was requested. We have a nice weekly trend line to the upside, looking pretty bullish, but removing this demand zone, definitely a bearish sign. But we cannot deny the strength of this overall weekly trend. Any pullback down this weekly zone could be a great potential dip buying opportunity. We are still bullish on Bitcoin because of the weekly trend, but I mean, this daily chart really all over the place, nothing that I really like. If we can remove this low, we will have the ability to draw a trend line here, and then that is going to be pretty much our bearish signal, and that's going to be our guide for shorts to the downside. If we do get a pullback all the way up to this daily supply, I think it's a very good supply zone at 121.722, where we can get a potential quick short trade. Again, I say quick because you're trading against a weekly trend. So aggressive trade management at that daily supply is going to be needed. I wouldn't be expecting a 4-to-1, 5-to-1 move, off of that area of supply. There's just not a lot of setups to go off of here. On this 4 hour chart, we had a 4 hour trend line. That trend line was broken by this supply zone. We are seeing a nice move off of it so far. Nothing crazy, but it could represent day trading opportunities. As long as this 4-hour supply zone's holding, we could expect 15-minute supply zone trades to potentially work out. If we remove it, well, at this point, I don't know. It's a very, very tricky chart. This purple box is potential liquidity down below. It's not enough for me yet. We have an older 4-hour zone that could be worth it for a quick trade. Again, I say quick because it's such an old zone. But again, it's so old that I need to see a positive reaction off of this liquidity trap first. Then that zone down below would make me more confident in it because it's just so old. So for now, it is counter trend, but we have a 4-hour supply zone in control. We could be seeing a move to the downside off of that supply. If we break that supply, if there's a high quality 4-hour demand zone there, it could be a great buying opportunity, especially since you'd be trading with an overall weekly trend. If you guys want access to my full-length forecast, join the Diamond membership where you will have access to that as well as my daily market forecast, the full course supply and demand PDF, and much, much more. Make sure you guys subscribe so you can catch next week's forecast as well. And I always appreciate a like. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.